Fun fact.
I hit record, by the way.
Out of 10?
Airports suck.
Yeah, that is true. I don't have much airport experience personally, but you've become well versed in airports, so
Yeah. I suppose you could say I'm an airport myself.
bro, you were totally at airport. Wait, did we record?
Yes.
Let's go.
I said that 40 seconds ago.
Yeah, I know, Matthew. I knew the whole time.
What?
I said fun facts, and from that moment, when you said that we were recording, I assumed that we were recording.
Pretty much, yeah.
Airports suck, bro.
Tomorrow's our 1 year anniversary.
I know.
We've been together
It's
for 1 year.
Well, we've been doing this podcast for 1 year as of tomorrow.
Yeah, we're celebrating our anniversary tomorrow. We're gonna have a nice little dinner date together.
Nope.
If we had maybe more than a dozen subscribers, I'd consider doing a live stream like hangout. But I feel like nobody would join. So, unless that's something you'd want to do. But
I mean, it'd be cool, but I don't really see the actual practicality of it.
Yeah, leave a comment down below if you want a live stream tomorrow, and I'll force Ellis to do something immediately after his shift. Yeah, there's so many podcasts these days that I just I listen to on the fly. Like this one guy does this podcast with this one guy, and usually the podcasts aren't that long, but they had a podcast this Monday, and the video was 5 hours and 50 minutes.
What?
They talked for 6 hours. Both these guys have wives, so they just blatantly ignored their wives for 6 hours.
Wow, that is
One of them is pregnant, and he's in the middle of moving, and he's like, "Let me just talk to my bro for 6 hours."
6 hours, Jesus.
So we'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. I guess I can fit that in my day. I'll make that work. Thanks for springing it on me right now at 8:45 p.m. Breaking the fourth wall.
Honestly, yeah. But how's your life been? I haven't seen you in a week.
Yeah, well, before all that, you hadn't seen me for a much longer time than a week, so I wouldn't consider that an exuberant amount of time.
I'll see you in 6 weeks.
Exciting.
Yeah,
very exciting.
You'll get to see my car again. It's been 9 months.
I mean, yeah, I haven't been desperately missing your car. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What? That's so mean of you.
I'm sorry that I haven't missed your car.
You'll get to hang out. You get to hang out with my girlfriend again.
Yay.
Bruh.
That's so hype.
Is it not?
Shout out.
You tagging my
your girlfriend.
You tagging my girlfriend right now?
She's a dear friend, okay?
She's a fucking deer now? Huh? I'm sure that's something. So I thought we should have talked about Click today, because we haven't talked about it nearly enough. But Ellis recommended Airplane.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Airplane, not Click. But what I actually just thought of, since this is the 1 year anniversary episode, it's also the 40th, which is kind of cool that it's a round divisible of 10. We could talk about the movies we were going to talk about, and then also I think it'd be kind of cool to talk about some of our favorite movies, just go over which movies we consider our favorites. I guess we haven't talked too much of that. We mentioned offhandedly which movies are the favorites over and over sometimes. But we could probably do something like that. We don't have too much of a really grounded discussion for this week. Neither of us have both seen any new releases the past couple weeks, so hopefully we'll have some fresh content to talk about next week. But for this week, it's a bit more loose, so to speak.
Yeah, we're doing this for a while, so everybody that was watching just wants to listen to us talk. So, because we're just that entertaining. Also, tomorrow we're going to start our first film production company. We're going to fund our first short film entirely off Ellis's money. He doesn't know that yet. That's what's going to happen.
Also important to note that Matthew is a compulsive liar / storyteller.
Wait, I'm a compulsive liar? That's not good. Do you actually think that?
That you're a compulsive liar?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You just said that we're starting a film company tomorrow, which is not happening. You said that we were starting a short film, which is also not happening. And it would all be out of my wallet, which, again, is not happening.
Well, that's just a joke, obviously. But, yeah.
Okay, compulsive liar. So...
What the hell? That's so mean.
When we do make that short film, don't worry. We'll be able to discuss it on the podcast. Not criticism, of course, because, we'll be filmmakers at the time. But, you get it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just too excited for Morbius to even think about what's actually going on.
Yeah, we do have to watch that soon if we want to.
Unfortunately,
I think it'd be a good video, but not a good watching.
No, I guess you were just telling me about the critic response, the early critic response that's coming out, and how it's being referred to as a disappointment. When I don't know why anyone could expect this movie to be good in any way, at any point throughout any of the marketing. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what was I gonna say? I literally just forgot. It looks bad. This is I guess since we're doing this for a year now, this is the first time I'm literally going to a movie just because I want to critique it. So
yeah. Well,
if I didn't have this channel, I honestly don't know if I'd be watching it, at least in theaters. So thanks, guys.
I mean, that's kind of me with Let There Be Carnage as well.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to see that in theaters just to see if it actually was connected to No Way Home. But yeah, besides that, no. I was more excited for Let There Be Carnage than I am for Morbius, but that's comparing being excited getting your wisdom teeth out to getting excited to get a vasectomy. I'm not excited for either, but one's, I guess, a little better.
Which is which? I'm very curious.
Venom is probably the wisdom teeth.
Okay.
Morbius is probably Morbius is pretty much a vasectomy.
It's not been confirmed that viewing Morbius is a vasectomy, and now it might be dangerous to go see this film, considering it's the nature of it.
This film's dangerous.
It doesn't look good though. Actually, speaking of Jared Leto, a couple of weeks ago, I rewatched Requiem for a Dream. Incredible film, absolute masterpiece. And Jared Leto, his performance is very good in that film. And I was like, oh yeah, this is why people like Jared Leto, or at least why they should. And then I remembered the Suicide Squad, and I was like, oh yeah. Jared Leto's career is very, very polarizing.
I don't know if you saw it, but he recently had a quote where he said that if he could be in a movie of any character in the MCU, if he could have a crossover with any character with Morbius, he said Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, and every single comment said he's been dead for 4 years. And he totally just watched the first Iron Man and was like, you know what? This would be better if I was in it.
Honestly, if my Morbius, my character of Morbius appeared here, it would be a masterpiece.
Yeah, and he's already making up. He said in a quote for an interview for this movie that he already has an excuse lined up for if the movie flops, which is not a good sign.
What?
And Matt Smith, who plays the villain in the film, has said when he read the script and when he acted in the film, he didn't understand his character's motivation or who his character really even was, and he's the main villain in your film. So, not a good sign.
Making this movie in general is just such a stupid decision.
Also, Tyrese and the Craven film.
I mean, Oscar Isaac said he wants to make a version of the Midnight something now, so
that's actually exciting. I'm very excited since we could actually start watching Moon Knight as well next week because that does premiere next Wednesday. Because I'm pretty excited for that, so I'm gonna watch that each week. A new episode comes out. Can maybe do something similar with Loki if we end up watching it fairly frequently.
Good point.
If you have Disney Plus, I don't remember if you do or not.
We have it here yet.
Yeah, it's getting good reviews so far, so I'm excited for that. And yeah, I know this next month is going to be pretty dry with content, at least newer content. I think we'll also be pretty busy. At least I know I will be a little bit. So we'll probably have a bit more shorter episodes this next month. Besides Morbius.
Morbius will be roughly 5 hours and 50 minutes.
We might have to split our Morbius podcast into 2 episodes. May will have a lot of stuff. May will have a lot of stuff though, I think, because I know we got a few. First off, we'll be back to in-person podcasts, and
that'll be exciting.
Yeah, and
okay.
I'm sorry, excuse me. We got Kenobi in May, which I'm really excited for, and I feel like there's something else coming out. Oh, Doctor Strange. That's the thing. So, but
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Mayhem. It's madness.
Also, I guess a new Thor movie's coming out in like less than a few months, and there's not like a single piece of footage. So,
that's true. There's not been anything from that, which that's like pretty soon.
Yeah. Also, Boys season 3 comes out at the beginning of June, which I'm really excited for. I don't know if we'll cover it though, so we'll see.
Well, there's a good chance that I'll watch that show soon. And then if I get caught up, I'll watch when season 3 premieres. So we'll see.
Also, hopefully Invincible season 2 comes out this year because I really want to see season 2. I know you haven't finished season 1, but I know you enjoyed it so far.
Yeah, I gotta finish that too. I also really liked Invincible. Man, I got a lot on my watch list right now.
You really got to watch Book of Boba Fett. It's so important.
I'm not gonna watch that. I will finish Peacemaker, and then I'll probably start. I'll probably finish Invincible after that, and then start The Boys. I always just go back to watching South Park whenever I have time to watch a show. And everyone's always like, "Why don't you like watch all those shows?" I'm like, I just don't have time while I'm like watching like South Park for the 8th time.
Yeah, Allie's been watching that a lot lately because we started just watching it during spring break, and we actually watched the entire new season, and now she's like watching all the older seasons again.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess the new season's only 6 episodes, but still, like that's like. I mean, I've literally seen every episode so many times, and yes, it's the greatest show ever. But I do want to take some time to watch some other shows too. So.
Yeah, to be honest, the whole season was good, but the Tolkien episode was probably the best by far.
Yeah, that was like.
That was really good.
Absolutely fantastic. Also, we were doing our rewatch. I was doing a rewatch. He was watching it for the first time. We were going through BoJack Horseman, but now our Netflix is starting to crash every time we try to use it, so we can't watch it.
Yeah. Also, in my English class, we had to write a rhetorical analysis on like something with a lot of like rhetoric and hidden messages in it. So I'm actually just gonna write like a 6-page essay on The View from Halfway Down.
That's amazing.
Yeah. At least but part of it. There's a lot. And I'll just take Johnny Tuccello's video and I'll just like write it as like a paper. I'll just submit it.
Or do something with less plagiarism.
Yeah. One of the two. I can't do that now because now it's on video. Also, I hope you know, since we haven't started talking about Airplane, I changed the image to the Megamind costume. Because I thought, should I change it to Morbius? But then we started talking about not Morbius, so I said, nah.
Megamind.
I'm really waiting for Airplane 3, though. I'm really excited.
I don't think anyone's waiting for that, and they shouldn't be.
I mean, maybe an Airplane remake could be good, but, like, also don't.
But
Like a modern airport setting with, like, 9/11 jokes throughout, I think would be a very funny movie.
of course.
Anyways, I remember at the end of Airplane 2, they had, like, a little post-credit scene or something about Airplane 3, and, like, they made a joke that they wouldn't make a sequel. Like, they didn't just make an entire sequel.
What?
You remember that? At the end of Airplane, at the end of Airplane 2, they tease an Airplane 3 and like, who would do that? Who would actually watch an Airplane 3? And like, come on, we're not doing that. Like they didn't just make Airplane 2.
I guess I do remember that. I kind of had Airplane 2 like blacked
There's only
out of my
one.
memory.
There's only one good joke in Airplane 2. I honestly remember. And that was like at the very beginning, like when they're getting on the shuttle or whatever, and like a little kid has his dog, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, buddy, you can't bring your dog. I'm afraid we'll have to take it out." So he just shoots the dog, and like the kids are crying over his dog's body, and the dog just gets up, and the guy's like, "It's just a blank. You're good to go." I was like, "That's good," and then like the next hour and 20 minutes happened. So
that is true. That was like the rest.
But the first Airplane, I haven't seen in years, so I don't remember the whole plot. But I guess there wasn't really a plot to begin with.
Of the first Airplane?
Yeah, what even was the plot? The plane was like going to crash or something.
Well, yeah. Technically, the plot of the film is that Ted Stryker, his girlfriend is a flight attendant, and then she breaks up with him basically, and then he's all sad, and then he gets on the plane to like try to win her back, and then while he's on the plane, they serve everybody who orders the fish on the plane gets sick and then passes out, including all of the pilots. So then the plane is like gonna crash or something. And the main character, who used to be a fighter pilot in like a war, but like has like trauma because of it, he has to try to land the plane and overcome his trauma. And a lot of hilarious antics ensue on the plane as that happens. It's genuinely one of the funniest movies ever, at least to me. It's one of my it's absolutely hilarious, and the whole point, and like that is the plot. That's like the story, just because there has to be some sort of structure for it to be a film. But like the whole point is just to make you laugh, and it absolutely succeeds for 80 minutes. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm remembering more of it now. There was a lot of good jokes, like the pop-up pilot. The autopilot. And remember the one scene where the guy like goes to somebody's house and like the dog keeps like attacking him viciously, and the woman's just like, "Oh yeah, he's fine. Hey, get off him. Don't do that." And the guy's like just the dog's like viciously tearing him apart. And he's like, he likes you. He's just playful, and like he's like ripping his clothes off his body.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally just joke after joke after joke. Like that's how the scenes are structured, and there's just some great ones. One of my favorites is I don't remember the like lead into it, but like the doctor says something, and then it's like, Shirley, you can't be serious. He's like, I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Shirley, you can't be serious. Don't call me Shirley. We should pick these movies like a week ahead so I have time to rewatch it, because I need to remember this more, and I kind of want to rewatch it now.
Yeah, it's just a great movie to watch. There's one great moment where one of the pilots, he's like goes to take off his sunglasses, and then there's like an identical pair right under it, and he goes like, he still has sunglasses on, and he's like, anyway.
I remember the one where like they all like line up and slap one woman. I don't remember why.
Oh yeah, because like she's starting to freak out, and they're like, calm down, you're going crazy." And he slaps her, and then I can handle this. Then he like punches her, and then the next one like takes a crowbar to her. Then there's like a baseball bat, and then they go along the line, and then like they have like one has like a torch, one has like a gun, and they're all like
Just remembering some of these jokes makes me chuckle. So,
yeah.
and the general story, like it's very basic, but it's pretty. From what I remember, it was pretty. It wasn't like bad. It was like pretty decent.
I mean, it's fine just to have like some sort of structure there, so that like there's
It's
a
better than a lot of
movie.
these modern comedies that are just literally just like these like Amy Schumer, Kevin Hart movies where it's just like they're just joking around the whole time. At least there's like an actual plot that's like semi interesting. Similar to Vacation, I guess, in a way. I mean, that movie has a plot, but you're basically just there to see like the worst possible vacation that a family can go on. So I was just trying to be funny. This one's, I don't know how this movie got made, but I guess somebody was just like, what if we just made like a comedy on an airplane? And then they made a movie.
Yeah, I think the overall story is like really well done as far as like a context where they can fit a lot of jokes. They use a lot of it to play into some good comedy, and it's really good. Like when Ted first sits down next to the old woman, she's like, "Are you nervous?" He's like, "Yeah." She's like, "First time," and he's like, "No, I've been nervous lots of times." It's just like dry, humorous moments like that are great, and then they use the situation really well. I mean, it's completely designed just for comedy. I know that like that was the whole process. They were like, we're just gonna make something that's purely supposed to be funny. There's really no other point to it. They had some really good casting. Like Leslie Nielsen's absolutely hilarious as the doctor, and we mentioned the "Don't Call Me Shirley" line and stuff like that. So. And then pretty much all the characters, they have great timing. They have great chemistry when they need to have like dialogue, heavy jokes. They've got flashbacks that bring in everything. It all works, and it's just what makes it brilliant is that it goes so absurd and it goes past any point of actual film structure just to deliver a joke. And it's great. I used to watch it all the time when I was a kid, and I watched at least once a week. I would watch this movie, and like my parents started to get sick of it. That's how much I would watch it. So
Yeah. I'm looking up here because I was just curious why they even made a sequel, and it turns out the writers and directors of the first one were all approached by the studio to make one. And here's the paragraph that says it. Whilst they considered the option and were said to be initially interested, they decided it wasn't for them. Furthermore, they thought the idea of a sequel was a bad one and protested the idea of it. The studio, though, felt like it was a no-brainer and against the wishes of the filmmakers pressed ahead with the project. The creative team might have not been wanted to be involved, but the core cast was game. Okay. What's more, Paramount, buoyed by the extraordinary profits of the first film, had its eyes firmly on a trilogy. The plan was to release a second film and then leave the door open for a third.
Well, look how that worked out. What was it going to be called?
What?
What was it going to be called? Airplane 3, the third one?
I don't know, but I guess the ending tease at the second film wasn't just a joke. It was legitimately a setup for a third movie. Where the line they say, William Shatner, I guess he was in the second one, says when they say Airplane 3, says exactly what they'll be expecting us to do. But Paramount was deathly serious. It was looking for another film.
Jeez.
Okay, so it didn't
That's
happen.
hilarious considering
Airplane 3 did not happen because there was significant box office downhill between the first and the second film. Because the sequel cost 4 times more to make. 4 times more?
Yeah, the budget was really small on Airplane, so then it became a hit, so there was a lot more backing for the second one. I didn't know it was 4 times more than.
Yeah, but it made but a fraction of its box office.
Yikes.
Okay, so it also got bad reviews, but the film the second film took just 27.2 million, over 100 million down on the first. It still made a profit, but just a modest one. And the team from the first
was
film,
3.5 million.
yeah, the team from the first film declared in recent interviews that they've never watched a frame of the sequel. They haven't watched a frame. That is fucking deceitful.
Oh my gosh.
Fuck. The second reason it wasn't made.
Disaster movie came out a long time later, and it was supposed to be make fun of disaster movies. Airplane's a much better version of that.
Those movies suck, and a lot of people like them. I remember
I've never heard of a person liking disaster movie.
I heard of a what?
Someone being a fan of disaster movie. Like, I don't think anyone's ever enjoyed that film ever.
I think I don't know if it was a disaster movie. It might have been the superhero movie that my parents said was funny.
Yeah, I mean that one's like whatever. It's not.
I guess I mean
bad,
that whole genre of spoofs that happened in the span of 10 years, 10 years ago. Like they kept making them,
Yeah.
so people were watching them and enjoying them, I guess, because they kept coming back for them. And I guess the first scary movie was that one's it's entertaining because there's a lot of jokes you can make and spoof about horror movies, and they specifically targeted Scream, which was a good pick since that was a meta horror movie already. But then they made 4 more of those, and by the third one it was really dried out and not funny anymore. And then they made a bunch of different movies about different genres, and I haven't seen many of them, but from what I've seen, they just look very cheap and not really funny. Maybe they have a few good jokes, but then they have 80 or 90 bad ones in a row.
Such a waste.
And then we watched. I remember one boys' night. We watched part of the beginning of Scary Movie 5 because it was on Netflix or something.
Yeah, for some reason.
And I actually felt like slitting my wrists would have been a better use of my time because that movie was so fucking unfunny.
It was so horrible.
It was so bad.
I still don't remember why I still don't know why.
None of the setups.
Absolutely.
They just were making jokes to make jokes. They completely forget they need setup and a punchline and good timing. They're just making jokes and then making jokes and they don't make sense. And I get it's a spoof movie, but I want there to be some sort of substance here, and there wasn't any. And then Airplane does have that. Again, I haven't watched in a while. I remember much more about it than Airplane 2 because Airplane 2 was just a repeat of the first movie, but it's in space, and it's stupid. And I don't know how you would have made a third film, but that's besides the point. Also, the poster is iconic. I really love the poster.
Yeah, the poster.
Even the second one, I like that poster too because it's I like the poster of the second one. I like that part of that movie. Also, the Airplane 2, the sequel, is a stupid fucking subtitle, and I get it's a stupid movie, but what the fuck is that subtitle?
Yeah, I mean, I get the point of that subtitle, but come on, Airplane 2 the sea.
It reminds me of when they made Sharknado 2, and they had this whole fan contest where fans get to decide their a wacky subtitle for the film, and the winning fucking subtitle was the second one.
Yeah.
Sharknado 2, the second one.
And for some reason, okay, there's the one poster for Airplane 2 that's it does the same thing with the airplane that has a knot, but then there's 2 knots instead.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the one that's for some reason the plane is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Santa's behind the plane for some reason. Was there
a Christmas theme in the movie? I don't remember that.
I don't remember there being any Christmas theme at all. The friggin' the quote at the top is like, "For the ride of your life, all you need for Christmas are your 2 front seats."
The fuck does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
Like the airplane subtitle is "the craziest flight you'll ever take," which is whatever. But
yeah, that makes sense at least.
Also, the other subtitle for the first one is "The plane's going to Chicago, the pilot's going to New York, the passengers are going to pieces." I think.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I really need to rewatch this, but from what I generally really enjoyed this. I haven't watched it in a while, which I haven't said enough. But when did this come out? Like the 80s?
I mean, 1980.
Yeah, this is really good. Especially, it hasn't really aged, really. It's just, I mean, it's like older, but like it's still funny.
Yeah, I mean, like you can tell it's a bit dated, but like it literally, like the comedy will stand the test of time. It's just genuinely really funny throughout. I mean, like we were talking about those like stupid modern spoofs. They fail in like a lot of the comedic ways because they aren't funny, but they still try to do the consistent jokes. What's great about Airplane is even if there is a joke that misses, there's going to be one that lands right after, instead of it's good jokes with like a couple of maybe like not as funny ones sprinkled in. Where a lot of comedies since then that try to replicate Airplane because it became successful, because it became a cult classic. It's kind of like the inverse, where like occasionally you'll find like a pretty good joke, but most of them are decent to a lot worse. And it's just like, well, this is just a waste of my time if it's not going to make me laugh. Airplane just completely succeeds, and it's probably one of the films I've seen the highest number of times in my life because I've literally watched this movie so many times. At one point, I could recite it all by heart. I haven't watched it in a couple years now, but
yeah, I definitely watched this quite a few times in my youth. My parents introduced it to me, and I haven't. Well, I thought it was funny as a kid, but I bet I would think it's more funny now. It's one of those movies I think would probably get better the more you watch it, which not a lot of movies are like that. Very few are actually.
Yeah.
If you can make I think as a filmmaker, if you can make a movie that gets better and like gets more enjoyable the more times you like put time and invest in watching in it, I think then you've made a genuinely good movie. So this is a genuinely good movie. I absolutely recommend it. It's not super popular, but it probably should be. It's a pretty gold standard comedy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know people definitely know about it. Which is good.
I guess just
more people should definitely.
There's nothing going on with this property nowadays, so it's not really talked about. I know if they for some reason announced some sort of remake, there'd be a lot of people talking about the original more.
Right.
But yeah, this is a really good movie from the 80s. A really good comedy. I recommend it. I don't know what I'll give it out of 5. I haven't seen it in a while, so I probably should rewatch it before I give it a rating. But it's definitely a good rating.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
5 minutes later, looks like I picked the wrong week to quit drinking. 5 minutes later, looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
Wait, he says that?
Yeah, there's like 5 of them. He just keeps on it.
What the fuck?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's the one where he's like sweating profusely.
Yeah, he's like trying to land it, and like the sweat's literally everywhere. And then like the plane, like he's trying to land it, and it's a really rough like crash like landing. And then the doctor keeps coming in. It's like, I just want to tell you both, good luck. We're all counting on you. And, like, he does it like 4 times because like they're literally all dying. And he's just like, just want to tell you both, good luck. We're all counting on you.
What the fuck? Oh, there was another good joke with the 2 kids where she's having her coffee and he's like talking about her coffee and she's like, I like my coffee like I like my men black. Yeah,
they're like 2 like little kids. They're like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
He's like, can I sit next to you? She's like, yeah, of course. It's like, would you like some coffee? Like, you like cream? Like, no, I like my coffee like I like my men black. And he's just like,
Literally 7. Yeah, there's a lot of good jokes, a lot of adult humor, a lot of dry humor, which is kind of more my speed. So,
yeah, it's just anarchy from beginning to end. It's great.
yeah, I don't know what else these filmmakers have done, but hopefully they've done some other good stuff. Sounds like they're smart because they decided not to make a sequel.
Yeah, definitely a good call.
Because really, it makes no sense to make a sequel to this. Because like, what could you do?
Right.
If you're making one about space, just make a space comedy. I don't know why it needs to make an Airplane 2. It's not an airplane anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a joke a lot in that movie. They were just like, oh, it's not an airplane actually, it's a spaceship.
A lot of people are like, well, I don't see why you'd criticize the second. It's just the same movie. It's like, well, because they already did it once, and it's kind of like a lightning in the bottle type thing. Like other things would replicate and do to success / not. But like just doing it again with like the same like people, but with new jokes, but like don't work as well, it just completely fails. So I don't really see like. I know the director of Airplane went on to direct. He directed Ghost, that like Patrick Swayze movie, and he also directed Rat Race. I know that.
Oh, those movies good.
Ghost is fine. I used to watch Rat Race a lot when I was younger too. That movie's always been very entertaining to me. Have you seen Rat Race? You know what I'm talking about?
I've not.
Have you heard of it? It's got Breckin Meyer. I remember him being in it.
I've never heard of this movie ever.
Really?
No. Is it like popular? Is it well known?
Probably not really. No, probably not.
Same. But okay. I was totally gonna say something. So basically, I started blasting, but I feel like I remember there being a joke, like a constant running joke in the sequel, where like it just kept like making reference to the fact that it isn't an airplane, it's like a space shuttle, and then I'm like, why is it called Airplane 2 then?
Yeah.
Are you like making fun of the fact that you made a movie that shouldn't exist? Because that's not funny. Just talk about if you make a bad movie and you're just constantly making jokes about you knowing that your movie's bad, doesn't make it a good movie. Doesn't make you smarter. It just makes you aware that you're making the bad, which makes it worse because then it's just boring.
Just don't make a bad movie. Just don't make it.
Now, bad movies that take themselves seriously are fucking hilarious because they're just like a terrible movie, but the actors are just taking it so seriously. Like the first Sharknado is hilarious because all the actors are taking it so seriously. There's that one movie, I haven't seen it, but like I've seen like parts of it and like reviews of it, and it looks so fucking funny. It's like Birdemic, and The Room.
Oh my gosh, The Room!
I actually have not seen The Room. We should totally watch that together.
Yes, 100%. We gotta watch The Room. Oh, it's such a fun time.
And then The Disaster Artist, of course. Didn't people like that one? I don't know if it's actually good.
The Disaster Artist?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it was really popular and it was highly anticipated and stuff like that. But like, it was solid. James Franco brought a lot of passion to it, and it was pretty good. It's like, it's not as fun as just watching The Room itself, but like, it definitely makes a lot of sense, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
It got some Oscar buzz too, didn't it?
What'd you say? Sorry, what?
Didn't it get some Oscar buzz as well, I believe?
Yeah, it did. And I think it won a Golden Globe, I'm pretty sure. So, like, it was... So I remember James Franco was up there giving his speech at the Golden Globes. I watched it that year. And he called up Tommy Wiseau, who was the writer, director, main actor in The Room. Who's also, like, an insane person. He's kind of, like, an incompetent person. He's really funny to, like, watch do anything. And he went up there and he immediately went to like grab the microphone and talk. And James was like, whoa, you're not up here to talk. I just wanted you to come up here with me.
Bruh.
It's really funny.
Yeah, apparently James Franco is like not a cool guy anymore. Apparently.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what's up with that. I didn't hear anything about it, so.
He did stuff to women, I guess, or something. Like one time. I don't know all of it. Of course, if he did, he's an asshole. But he wasn't some good stuff.
Yeah.
But
Overall, Airplane is a very good comedy. Obviously, it's not a perfect film, but it succeeds at being funny throughout the entire thing. I think it's absolutely great. Give it an 8 out of 10. The sequel is pointless and redundant. 3 out of 10.
yeah, I'm not gonna give any ratings right now because I've not seen both of them in like years. But I recommend the first one. Don't see the second one, I guess, unless you really want to. It's one of those comedies that just kind of repeats the same shit again, and it's pointless. It's like Ace Ventura 2. Like the first Ace Ventura is like a classic, and I love that movie. Ace Ventura 2 though, that movie's so fucking boring.
Yeah.
Now I think they could do a really good third one if they have a good script. But again, I don't really care if they ever do another one.
Yeah, that's true.
I know it's been like a topic for like years now because Jim Carrey's like kind of doing comedy stuff again, but I honestly don't know if that'll ever happen because they made that fucking stupid like Junior Detective movie, which I have not seen, but I know it's like considered one of like the worst things like ever made.
It's really bad.
Yeah, like why would you make a Jim Carrey centric film with like a 10-year-old and just make him look like a fat Jim Carrey?
Just the fat little kid.
He doesn't have his dad there, which is like presumably Jim Carrey. So they're just saying that Ace Ventura is just like an asshole the whole time. He just left his kid.
Such a bad movie.
He clearly has some mental problems because he decides to be a pet detective at age 10 when he should be like, I don't know, have friends.
Go to school. Like, such a bad movie. Oh my gosh.
Don't even get me started on Son of the Mask.
Son of Mask. Oh man.
With Jamie Kennedy.
By the way, just so everybody knows, this is the part where we're talking about all of our favorite movies. That's what all this is. So, but yeah, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective Jr.
Excuse
Son
me?
of Mask.
I really gel with 50 Shades of Grey.
I like 50 Shades of Grey the best, personally.
I love 50 Shades Darker, starring Sam Jackson. I remember that joke was like really. You remember when Sean was like, first off, around, but second off, when.
First off, like, we saw him. Second off.
Yeah. Apparently he saw the first 50 Shades of Grey because his mom made him go to the theater and watch it. And like when he first told me that, I was like, either you're joking with me or you severely need to leave your mother.
That's a serious problem.
Also, like on Valentine's Day, like what the actual fuck? You know how embarrassing it would be as a mother to take your kid to the movie theater and say to an employee, "Oh yeah, 2 tickets to the softcore porn, please." No, I am not. Hi, what are you talking about?
It quizzes.
Dude, I say that Riddler one today where it's like, you have none, but I have many. That's right, Batman. Bitches. Dude, Riddler got mad.
Yeah, it was pretty effective.
Something's in my ass.
Hold
Kurt Cobain was a completely mentally well member of society.
Airplane's great. I love Airplane.
Yeah. Now let's talk about a real classic. I'm tired of this Airplane shit. Megamind. Cinema. Peak fiction.
Megamind is kind of like a cult classic among like our age group because of when it was released. It was really popular for a lot of kids, like around our age. and I get why. It's a pretty funny kids animated movie. And looking back, it was definitely a big part of my cinematic experience. I used to watch that movie a lot. So, Megamind, it's really popular amongst at least like a lot of the people that I know. So, honestly, Megamind.
Yeah, it was a big part of my childhood too. I actually kind of remember seeing it in the theaters a little bit. And it was so weird because this movie was so, it did well, I think, and like everybody really liked it, even like critics, and it just never had any like sequel or like continuation whatsoever, which is fine. I mean, I guess now we're getting some TV show, which I'm interested in, but it just feels so long now.
Yeah.
Like, what's really the tell now? But this movie was, I really enjoyed it, and I think I like most about it is the story was pretty subversive at the time for basically being about the villain, and in the end it was about the villain becoming the hero and like the main hero like leaving. And it was kind of an interesting story because it kind of reversed roles in the end, and seeing Megamind like be the hero at the end, like in the third act, his whole like entrance and like fight with Titan, I believe, it was very memorable. Like I remember that scene, that like final act just really sticking in my mind for years as a kid, and every time I watched it, like rewatched it, I would always enjoy it as much as I did the first time. I haven't watched it in years, of course, but I feel like if I did, I'd probably still enjoy it about the same. But
Yeah.
of course, it's not like a perfect movie. It has like problems. It's not like amazing, but it's actually one of the best DreamWorks films, I would say. Will Ferrell is really good in the role. All the voice actors are good.
Yeah, this is probably Will Ferrell's best performance.
Like of all time.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, which is also confusing. He had Will Ferrell in this like really good animated role, and they just didn't do anything with him.
Yeah.
I don't know who else, all the other actors, but they all did really well. I even like Metro Man's story with how he just got tired of being a superhero, just wanted to like live his own life. It was kind of a smaller part of the story, but it was pretty.
Yeah. Who, by the way, was voiced by Brad Pitt.
Yeah, he was like Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, he looked like Markiplier. He also looked like Markiplier in that one scene.
Yeah. Jonah Hill's performance was really, really interesting.
Yeah, Jonah Hill. He's kind of disappeared. He used to be in like a lot of things in like the mid 2010s.
Yeah, he was like really popular, and then now like he kind of fell off. He won like Man of the Year one year or something. Like after I didn't see him in anything or do anything.
Well, he was in that Oscar contender Don't Look Up.
Yeah, he was in that terrible Don't Look Up movie that got nominated for Best Picture.
Didn't also get Best Editing.
Yes, and the editing was so bad.
Yeah, there's like there's actually like an accident and like editing mistake in the film.
Yeah.
Like I heard about it, and like when I watched it, I was like, I'm not seeing any of this. It happens like towards the end, but like when it happens, I was like, what just happens?
Yeah, like, it was like a guy. He was like talking, and like mid sentence, it cuts to him, and like he's still like his dialogue is still going, but it shows him like taking a drink, and he's like looking down. He's not looking at the camera or anything, and like it like cuts back and forth or something, and it's just like what is happening?
And like they try to like excuse it by saying it was deliberate, but I don't know how in any way that was deliberate.
Yeah, no, it was so stupid.
Also, what's the meaning?
But it had a lot of editing decisions, and that's what the Oscars really want when they say best editing. There's been something that is edited a lot. That's why the Oscars suck.
They really do, because Amy Schumer's fucking hosting the Oscars.
Absolutely embarrassing. Like I'm not even like.
Like people were saying Tom Holland and stuff, and I was like, that actually be a good idea. Like I'd watch it if it was Tom Holland, and then it's just like Amy Schumer.
Jeez. J.K. Simmons was also in Megamind, and so was Ben Stiller, David Cross. It was a pretty good cast.
Fucking Ben Stiller's playing Jack Torrance.
Let's not talk about that.
Like Zoolander.
Let's not do that. No, I refuse.
Did you not hear they're doing a Jaws musical?
A Jaws musical?
I don't know if it's about like the movie. I think it's about the making of the movie because they said they cast Steven Spielberg in the Jaws musical, and I was like, I don't think he was a character in Jaws. I'm be honest with you. He was making a spiritual sequel to Duel because it has 4 letters in the title. Because Steven Spielberg is a fucking idiot. How is that in any way a sequel?
It's a spiritual sequel, bro.
No. One's about a truck, the other one's about a shark, and they're made like 5 years in between.
Roughly 5, yep.
There's like the people that like Mark Wahlberg made like 3 movies about based on real life events, and people are like, this isn't an untitled trilogy.
Untitled.
Ah, yes, the film about Mark Wahlberg in war. The film about Mark Wahlberg on an oil rig. And the film about Mark Wahlberg at a bombing are a trilogy of films.
Yeah, of course.
With the 2 prequel films being Transformers 4 and The Happening. I love Mark Wahlberg. Just kidding, I don't.
Mark Wahlberg. I heard he was really bad in Uncharted.
Everybody was bad in that movie. Like I don't know what anybody expected. Like what? It looks bad from the trailers. Like I haven't seen it, so I'm not gonna say it's like terrible, but like it looks so bad. Sony
It does
just,
look really bad.
the last good Sony movies were the Marvel Sony Spider-Man films because Marvel made them, and Into the Spider-Verse because they cared so little about the product. They just gave full creative control. So anything that Sony has done otherwise in the last like probably 15 years has been bad.
Probably 15 years. What about the Croods, though?
The first Croods I enjoyed when I was like 10 because I liked Ice Age, and I thought it was fine. It was Nicolas Cage as a caveman. It was funny for kids. It's not a good movie. Why does Croods 2 have a higher fucking Rotten Tomatoes score than the Batman? But
Yeah, Croods 2 is not very good. It seems to be something that people keep talking about, like, oh yeah, the Croods 2. It's like, why? Who cares about the Croods 2?
like I saw it.
It's like when
I saw it with
the Angry Birds 2 came out, and everyone was like, oh, it's not actually as bad as you expect. It's still the Angry Birds 2, which shouldn't have existed.
Yeah, I heard the movie actually wasn't bad, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But again, the first Angry Birds, I've mostly seen it. I like watched like parts of it just because it was on. And I was like, I wonder if this is actually as bad as people say. And yes, it was as bad as people said. And
Pretty bad.
back to the Croods 2 for the second, which I think I've said this story before, but I watched this with a group of friends, and I was viciously high, and I still hated every second of it.
Viciously high.
The Croods 2 isn't even good on any sort of substances. You could probably be on like the best. You could be on like literal heroin, and you could still be having a terrible time while watching the Croods 2. Ryan Reynolds as a caveman is not cool. I'm just tired of Ryan Reynolds in general. Even though I kind of want to see that Adam Project film because it's getting a lot of praise for some reason.
Sorry, what was that last thing you said?
I'm kind of tired of Ryan Reynolds everywhere, besides the fact, I mean, the Adam Project film has gotten a lot of praise, so I'm kind of interested in watching that.
I've heard that he's, like, again, the same kind of character. I saw a review that, like, this is the 7th film in a row where Ryan Reynolds just plays Deadpool again.
I mean, I like the one joke he had in Red Notice where he was, like, telling The Rock to not move, and he's like, okay, I heard of this from, like, Richard Attenborough or whatever, and he's like, don't you mean, like, David Attenborough? And he's like, no, I'm pretty sure it was that. And he's like, was Jeff Goldblum in it? Was it Jurassic Park? And he's like, no. And he's like, oh, shit. It totally was Jurassic Park.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but The Rock...
I forgot about everything about Notice, how bad that movie was. So.
Red Notice was so fucking... It wasn't mid, because it was worse than mid. But, like, for how much, like, praise it was getting as, like, a fun blockbuster, it was so mid compared to blockbusters. And there's 2 sequels on the way. But also, I don't really buy the idea of I don't really want to see another movie where it's just like Gal Gadot and The Rock having like vicious, brutal sex with Ryan Reynolds just being a third wheel. I'm not interested.
You sure? Are you sure? Speaking of, you just said two sequels, small tangent. You know, like the Has Fallen films, like Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, Angel Has
Hey, are they
Fallen.
making a fourth one?
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard about this, but they're making one called Night Has Fallen, and then they're planning on making two more after that.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about that when like the third one came out, and I assumed it was like a trilogy capper to like a movie that didn't need two sequels, and then they one of the producers just said like, oh, we have more plans for the Has Fallen universe. And I was like, what'd you just say? But
What?
you have one main character. How many fucking times does he get into situations where he needs to like save the country? And Morgan Freeman. But yeah, I knew like a fourth one got announced. I didn't know they have plans for like a second trilogy. This is like getting to Star Wars levels of what?
Yeah, like I don't get it. I don't know if they're profitable. I don't see how they
You're
would
telling
be.
me I
But
can't get a new
whatever.
Gamer film, but in the span of time after the last Gamer film, I get 6 Gerard Butler starred Has Fallen films.
Please.
Please. But
Well, I guess yeah. There's not much to say about Megamind really. I know that's like it's just it's just a good kids movie. It's decently funny. It has an okay plot. It's got decent voice performances. Overall, a lot of it's just okay. Like I don't have too much to say, but it's solid, like a 6 out of 10. I loved it when I was younger. Very big childhood movie. Both, I just like Airplane. I watched it with my family a lot. It was like one of those popular ones to put on for the kids at like family events and stuff. So there's definitely a lot of nostalgia attached to it. I like a lot of the character design. That's something I thought was pretty good, like Megamind himself. So yeah,
yeah,
like
the
overall, like a
animation.
6 out of 10. Definitely like worth it. Like one of those kids movies that you can definitely just enjoy, still watch today and just be like, oh yeah, kids will like this.
Your weakness is copper, but the animation's actually pretty good as well. I think it's held up pretty well.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, but yeah, I recommend this one. Haven't seen it in a while, but I'd probably give it. What, you gave it like a 6? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I'd give it like a 6, 7 range probably. Maybe 6.5, because I'm nice. But otherwise, that's about it. I'm probably gonna do a long form video essay on the script of this film, probably like an hour 27 minutes, and I'll go more in depth then. But besides that, I'm also not gonna do that yet. Maybe later.
Why would you ever do that?
Wait a minute. Did we get a new kill count this week? No.
We should.
Wait.
No, we got it last night, didn't we?
Yeah, I just remember I had to watch it when Ali was taking a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the Bloodlines one. So then Cold Day in Hell is coming out and next Friday.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Movie fucking sucks.
Tremors sick.
We'll have a full Tremors podcast one of these days, and it'll probably be me mostly talking. So
We might as well one day cover all the popular horror franchises. I mean, it just would be fun, I think.
yeah, if I ever decide to watch like any of the popular horror franchises,
Right.
I mean, if Ali ever wants to finish Hereditary, I'm down.
You guys didn't finish it?
No. She wanted to watch South
What?
Park. Also, I didn't like. We were kind of busy, but I wasn't gonna. Only if she wanted to. I remember most of it, so if she wanted to watch it, I would have.
Bro.
I want to watch, because I'm actually pretty excited for that new Alex Garland film, Men. Just because I really loved Annihilation. I haven't seen Ex Machina. I kind of want to watch that because I've also heard that's really good. And
Yeah.
I plan to watch those two before this new one comes out because I want to see it, and it'll come out when I'm in town. And I think the only person I know who will want to see it with me is you and maybe Allie. So
I'm always down to go see new movies, so you know how it goes.
all right, let's go see Morbius 3. I gotta admit, amidst all this Morbius talk, I am excited for the fact that this film is most likely gonna bomb and not do good, so we'll never have to see it in Morbius again.
I really, really hope so.
But the Craven film is filming right now, and it's upsetting me that there's a Craven film coming out where the whole basis of his character is to be like to hunt Spider-Man, and that's like the whole motivation of the villain, and now he's just random hunter, and that's the movie.
Yeah.
Like, why? You know how cool Kraven the Hunter would be in a Spider-Man movie, like a Tom Holland movie? You know how cool a Venom would be in a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie? Even Morbius could be cool in like a Blade movie. Why is Sony doing this?
I don't know. There's a lot of cool, interesting, rich characters that could make some decent standalone films throughout the history of Marvel Comics, including, Spider-Man comics. But I don't think they've made the best choices for that thus far. That's just my opinion.
I don't think
I
a
don't know.
Morbius or Kraven film works. I think a Venom movie could work after you establish him as a Spider-Man villain and like he goes off and does his own thing or something. But you can't just make a Venom movie without Spider-Man.
Right.
Also, where the fuck is my Lizard standalone film?
What about The Gentleman? Because The Gentleman was the end of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Let's get a solo film of him.
That fucking stupid little plot thing they had at the end of each movie to like get you excited for the next one, and then just never made a third one.
Yeah, they had friggin' Paul Giamatti as Rhino. He was like, Rhino. So stupid. I rewatched that. It was so annoying. Like, that little kid runs out there, like, and they stop the mom, but, like, no one goes after the kid. They're like, stop shooting, but they don't go get him. And then, like, the kid's out there, and he's, like, in the Spider-Man suit. He's, like, all brave, and it's supposed to be, like, a nice moment when, like, Spider-Man actually shows up. I was like, this is absolutely terrible. What is happening?
Absolutely. Terrible movie. It wasn't as bad as I remember rewatching Amazing Spider-Man 2, but like it still was not good at all.
Yeah. It was a little better than I remember, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. But it's still pretty bad.
Really,
The Amazing Spider-Man also a solid origin story, I guess. But I mean, we did talk about those, and they're just like, after rewatching them, it's just like I really they hit me really hard. I remember seeing both of those in the theater, and like I remember when I first saw Gwen Stacy die at 11 years old in the theater. That moment actually really got to me. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 really does stick the landing if you exclude that whole Rhino scene. But other than that, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, like Gwen Death was actually very well handled. And when I found out in the script, initially I think the studio and the director were like unsure if they should like actually kill her off. They were gonna have her live at the end, which would have been stupid. But
I mean, it would have made more sense if there would have been a third film, but the fact that it was just those two, and like at least as of now, and I don't think they're ever gonna make the third one, but I know people want that, but it just kind of made it work for what it was. That definitely probably bumped up my rating to a 3.
yeah, and again, Andrew Garfield is actually really good as Spider-Man, and as shown in No Way Home, if he has like a good script and like decent, a better like studio behind it, he's actually very good.
Yeah, that's true. That's something that I wanted to get more perspective on, is just see like how he actually did. And like the script of those movies were just so bad, but like he he did Spider-Man very well, and I think he actually really did kind of kill it. It's just like they really overdid it. Like he has that like whole like Spider-Man like messing around with like the criminals and all that stuff. But like in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's constant one-liners, constant quips and jokes. It's like, okay, like let it breathe for a second. He delivers it really well. It's just the script is just not well handled. And then in No Way Home, with a much better script, he was able to show that even more so. So I really like that. Plus, his chemistry with Emma Stone was incredible. I gotta say. So
Yeah, it was really good chemistry. Of course, it's because they dated at the time, and they're both good actors. But to be honest, they were better than Zendaya and Tom Holland, who were dating at the time. I mean, they were better in No Way Home than Far From Home, but like, it's still kind of their romance didn't like entirely click with me as probably as much as it should have.
Right.
I mean, it was sad at the end when like they weren't together anymore, but like, he'll find some other hoe. He'll be fine.
Yeah, sure. Have you seen all those things that's been like with Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, this is the better, hotter version of Tom and Zendaya," and everyone's like, "Oh, like these two, and they're like so much better." It's like, yeah, even though like they're not actually together, so.
Yeah, I've seen interviews with them. Robert Pattinson's actually very fucking socially awkward. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's really funny. He's extremely socially awkward. It's great.
Then he's like a very professional actor. But yeah, Robert Pattinson seems like the type of guy that if like he went to like a fast food place and they got his order wrong, he would just not go back and get it fixed because he's too socially awkward to like get upset.
Yeah.
Which is also me, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that was kind of a tangent. But I mean, if you don't have anything else, we can probably just wrap up. There's not much more that I have to say. So,
but again, thank you all for watching for a year.
Yeah, a year, 40 episodes so far. Hoping to keep this going for a long time. I really enjoy doing this. Matthew, you're obviously my favorite person to talk about movies and just this stuff in general with, and I'm really happy that we can have this space to do so. I really appreciate it. So that's what I have to say.
Yeah.
Be sure to.
Yeah, it's been a very good year. We'll probably. I plan to do this for next year. I mean, we always kind of plan to keep this going for however long it went. It'd be nice if one day we could actually gain a following and make money off it. But of course, I'm also fine with just doing this anyway. I enjoy doing it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we'll have like 20 more subscribers in the next year. But yeah, maybe we'll branch out and do some other content this year. We'll have to see how this summer ends up going schedule-wise. But still planning to do podcasts every week. And yeah, pretty much that's about it.
Absolutely.
You're gay.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
No. Actually, subscribe.
What?
Subscribe, please. Every time I get a new subscriber, I get a dopamine hit. So please subscribe. I really need dopamine. Like, really. So please.
I mean, I don't know if that's the right way to go about it, but we do appreciate new subscribers, new more expanding on the audience.
I am in a pit of despair, and your subscriptions keep me going. Please.
Thank you for listening. Have
donate.
A great day, night, whatever.
We're gonna make a Patreon. Please donate as much money as you can every month. Just
also welcome to AmityCast.
Give me your money. I want your money. We're gonna have crossovers of what? What?
Stop.
We're gonna have crossovers of Schlatt coming up. We're gonna do some ranking.
No, we're not. He has no idea who we are, Matthew. Give it up.
I know. I just want Schlatt's luscious lips. But, what?
We should end this now.
The podcasts or like our lives? Because I'm genuinely unsure.
Have a good one, everybody.
Yeah, a new Marvel legend arrives, Morbius.